like I've been drowned, shot, stabbed, killed. Still smiling like everything's chill. I've been blown up, phone up, overdosed off pills. Still smiling like everything's chill. Got a bite of cyanide on the side of every meal. Still smiling like everything's chill. I can hang myself off a building with a belt. Still everything's chill. Cause I know if life is a bitch, death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. Death must be a piece of ass. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. But at least it lasts. So just clap your hands if you really wanna die. I just want something permanent. I think me and life have a love and a hateful relationship. I feel grateful to be alive, but don't like how I have to live. I'm too lazy for suicide and too selfish to not exist. I feel basically I admire the fire I hold within. There are places inside my mind that would terrify Stephen King. I feel crazy and then I'm fine. Who knows what the nighttime will bring? It's amazing to me. I lie to myself, but I stop to think. It's hard moving on, but I'm smarter from the past. If I gotta die young, I'll be a martyr for the facts. If I'm reincarnated and I gotta come back, tell God 5 more minutes, I just wanna nap. Cause I've seen some things that I'd rather not get into detail about. For now, I just hope I can leave them out. Cause I feel like I've been drowned, shot, stabbed, killed. Still smiling like everything's chill. I've been blown up, phone up, overdosed off pills.
What's going on? What's going on? Let's get this show started. If you're new here, my name is Zach. This is Real Deal Futures. Make sure you read the disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing I say or do here or anywhere else is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm just an idiot on YouTube. Trading's risky. Most traders lose money. If you trade, you will probably lose money. Don't copy anything that I do. You can read that description on my site and in the that disclaimer in the description of this video. I'm going to take you guys through my frustrating, annoying morning to nobody's fault but my own, swapping between YM and MYM charts here on TopstepX, playing with VWAP, missing some good trades and ending up red about $300 in XFAs. Small green, 87.60 in these 150K combines. Again, essentially a break-even trade for the risk that I'm putting on with these accounts. But I'll jump right into what got me this morning. So I had been marking up MYM micro. I even shared it in a voice message from this morning. This is the micro chart. In my free Discord, we had some volatility yesterday, right? Started to get some larger price action, some larger structure. I like to be flexible in the 50K XFAs. I want to be able to size down and just have that option to keep my risk consistent. So marked up the MYM chart. As market's opening, of course, I'm still playing with things, doing stuff that I know I shouldn't be doing. You should just be focusing on trading if you're going to be trading. I'm switching back and forth like an idiot between Dow and micro Dow and scrolling in and out because VWAP does this funky thing on TopstepX where if you don't scroll out all the way back to the starting point, it kind of ends up in an odd place. But I'm comparing the difference between where VWAP is, the standard session VWAP, on micro Dow versus Dow. Then I'm looking at volume. Anyway, I'm swapping back and forth between the charts. I'm not realizing which chart that I'm on. I don't have the same levels marked because I marked up YM yesterday. I marked up MYM today. If you take a look, there was about an 8 to 10 point difference in where the actual VWAP placement was. And I'm using VWAP. You know, it's the one single tool that I have in my chart outside of volume, next to just raw price action and some discretionary levels. So this is important to me to be in the right spot. And playing with ES, a couple ticks maybe here and there didn't seem to be such a difference. On YM this morning, 8 to 10 point difference. That's what I was noticing at least. Right now, if I look, it's at 650 on YM. If I go to Dow, it's at 644. So, we got some difference right there. Long story short, whether or not that's going to matter or I want to trade YM over micro Dow, I shouldn't be messing with that at 9:30 during the open when I'm trying to trade the most volatile time of the session of the day. Ended up missing a good trade, a good long, using Bookmap, going back to VWAP, decided to chase it, and run myself into a red trade. Along with that, missed 2 solid entries off of VWAP for sells. So essentially turned 3 good trading opportunities today into a $300 loss. As the name suggests, and I continue to say, I'll hop on here and tell you guys about my morning. If I'm not trading live here with you, I'll tell you about it honestly. And today it was trash, man. Not that I hit DLLs or over leveraged or over risked. That's all within, my parameters. All fine. It's the missing good opportunities and not putting that profit in your account where it should be, because the market's giving you what you need to enter a trade, and then it plays out as a win multiple times, and instead taking a loss on a day where you should have been green. Frustrating, man. And again, just didn't put me in the right mindset to wait for the next trade. Instead, I chased, missed the first opportunity, took a loss, missed the second and third opportunity. So that's the overarching message for this morning. I have that down in my notes because, again, I'm a little bit hyper-focused. I get a little ADD with things. I want to be really comfortable. Even though it's a very simple chart and basic stuff, I really want to know the tools that I'm using. And as I start to change stuff, I really want to hyper-focus in on everything. And that was my mistake this morning. Swapping between charts during the open instead of just focusing on trading. If I noticed something was off, hey, VWAP's off, I don't have my sizing right for YM, I should pause, stop trading altogether, fix whatever I need to fix, then come back to trading. Or say, I know I can't multitask here. I'm not going to try to mess with this while I'm waiting for my entry, and, just continue on trading. So, again, simple stuff, right? Always frustrating when something really simple, like not being on the right chart, not having the right zones marked out, just being distracted with something stupid ends up generating a loss. But you're responsible for that, right? This is not to make excuses. I personally think it sounds worse than if you just had a losing trade. But I think guys can, utilize this and take value out of this. When you're trading, even if you're trading a stupidly simple system, very basic stuff, focus on trading. You don't have room to be multitasking. You don't have room to be swapping between things and testing out differences between charts and remarking up charts while you're supposed to be focused. All that is the preparation. Watching Dow sell off right here. Just ate up some liquidity on Bookmap. We got some serious levels on Bookmap today. Next one is at 08. But yeah, essentially that's my morning. Red in XFAs, small red in XFA, small green in combines. Continuing a pretty back and forth week. If I didn't do anything else in XFAs and the week ended now, I would be small red in XFAs. And I would be small green across these combines. Maybe $100 in each. So pretty garbage break even. And again, this is a choppy market. Here is Bookmap right now. I'm going to just mark this up for you guys. This is the next level on Bookmap that I'm looking at. I'll actually show that to you guys. Bookmap, my favorite order flow tool, gives you live liquidity in the markets. Here is what we're looking at right here. Liquidity came on the book. And it's the way that this has been running to the downside. It's really been absorbing it and continuing. We got some more on the book down here. You can't even really see the liquidity bands, the algorithmic BS that is typically above and below price on a day like today where we have big stacks of orders on the book. So I'd be anticipating it to come down and fill these orders. When we get there, do we break out and run to the downside? Do we find support? In an instance like this where there's really nothing else below it, I would be looking for buys down here to fade this back up into the range, not just using Bookmap as itself, and doesn't work every time, right? Nothing magic. I find it helpful. I think others will find it helpful. I get fun comments when I make those videos poking fun at guys trading, with no order flow and talking about liquidity. Everybody likes to yell at me, but that's cool. I'm also utilizing market structure and price action, obviously, right? There's no one thing by itself. We got a choppy-ass day here. Really choppy back and forth day. Now, the way that I trade Dow and the way that these levels were respected this morning, I had good opportunity. I had good opportunity to take buys after a quick sell-off back up to VWAP. I had opportunities to take sells very aggressively off VWAP or even waiting for some price action, a nice big, decent sized candle to the downside here or here that all would have paid back down to the lows. for a lot of guys, that's tough, right? You come down, break the lows, all the way back up, looking like we're going to continue the downside, come back up, break the highs. Like, this is choppy. So if you're trading trend, if you're looking for direction and you're not going from these extremes the way I am on Dow to a degree here, this could be a tough day. And I'm sure it's somewhat similar on ES. Yeah. Super, super choppy back and forth. Whole lot of nothing, right? Let's look at the open. Again, everybody's trading a different system, using different tools. Staying below VWAP, looking bearish overall. Every time we do come down and break a low, it's all the way back up. So this could be kind of frustrating. Maybe you're trading breakout to the downside. You're waiting for this, initial balance. You're trading the break of that, and you're looking short over here on a candle like that, or even here, structuring risk somewhere up in this area. That could be a tough one unless you went way high, something like that. So choppy day, man. Not to be completely unexpected after a big move like yesterday. And again, I don't mind so much of the back and forth movement when it's really, really tight, choppy, kind of just straight up chop around VWAP. That can be difficult to work with, but this was decent movement again, at least for me and the way that I trade Dow, and dropped the ball. That was my morning. So yeah, we got bookmap levels down at 510 and 500. Let's go ahead and just throw another one down here. That's what we're looking at. Does it have to come down and fill these? No. Does it have to bounce here? Does it have to break out to the downside? Are these even going to stay on the book? No. Don't know. Right? Just like any other tool. Nothing 100% of the time. Just stuff that we find that works well for us. So right now on this, guys, even with this bearish structure on Dow, the quick play that I have here would be a buy, counter to the movement to the downside, looking for a quick push back up. Probably wouldn't hold this for a continuation all the way to the upside and say, I'm going to catch the bottom here, but I'm not going to sell a breakout. If we absolutely run to the downside, I would flip and look for structure to the downside to be able to get short, right? This is looking weak. We are looking weak overall. If I zoom out to the 30-minute, right, we got a pretty decent move to the downside day over day. We know what happened yesterday. We are coming up to hammer against yesterday's low after a pretty weak session so far. This is my analysis on YM. Here's our 9:30 open. Right? Pretty weak session. Staying below VWAP. We did close above right here, but have since rejected right down through, breaking lows of the session, breaking initial balance to the downside. This looks pretty weak, right? The long play from down here, again, is the kind of aggressive back and forth entry that I like to capitalize on Dow. Trade from the extremes, take those cheap trades, counter to the current trend. What would give me more confidence is if we were in an uptrend overall, right? If we weren't coming down off these highs and instead we were pushing to the upside, I really like buys, aggressive counter to the current trend, even, for that day. Day like today, it's even more risky. I would like a sell today, right? Come all the way up, sweep the highs, looking like we're going to push back down. I'd like a sell flowing with this trend to the downside, counter to price coming up right here, right now, right? So there's always going to be levels to trends. Somebody could hop on at every single time, no matter who's trading, and say you're trading with the trend or against the trend, because it depends on what trend we're talking about. Are we talking about this 5-minute trend to the downside? Are we talking about this, 30-minute trend zoomed out exactly how we have on my chart right here to the downside? Are we talking about this uptrend that we have right here? So grain of salt it when you talk about trend. It's subjective. You can always identify an uptrend or a downtrend for the session, right? That's qualifying it from 9:30 a.m. up until right now. What does the trend look like? Maybe you look at the trend for the last week or 2 weeks, something along those lines. But even when people say the 4-hour trend or the hourly trend, how zoomed out or zoomed in are you? You know, if you're just standard, maybe that provides a little bit of context. But watching us come down again, man, I'm gonna try a fade on these bookmap levels. That's my game plan. Look for a buy. I'm gonna keep it low risk. Again, I'm in these the 150K combines. If you're gonna make progress and generate $9,000 in profit that you need to pass within a month, you got to take on some risk unless you're scalping, super duper hyper scalping. You're going to take 20 trades a day. But for me, I'm going to keep this pretty low risk. I'd probably jump in with 2 minis somewhere down here. Let's see what is looking left. Again, this is the YM chart, so not even the micro chart that I shared today. Frustratingly enough, I have more levels down here on micro DAO. But yeah, here's the stupidly simple way that I mark out my zones. Let's go way, way back over here. I probably wouldn't take that. That's a pretty decent level right there. I probably wouldn't want to take that just because we have lows looking left here, and that's going to make just a big mess of levels. Yeah, see, like that's one too many. So I don't like that one as much. I'm going to leave that bad boy on. Down below that, yeah, down below that, I'd really be looking down here. Again, discretionary, right? Subjective. You might say, hey, Zach, that's not where that level should go. It should go somewhere else. That's fine, man. You mark your chart up how you see fit. It really, I don't want to say it doesn't matter that much as we're getting farther away here from price action, and really really getting spaced out here. I don't think it holds as much weight when we are on the 5-minute, the 15-minute. This is a pretty obvious low, right? Like you probably want to have that marked out. Almost missing an entry here. Here we go, coming into bookmap. Again, I'm not going to limit in with these. If we find resistance here, we don't come into it. I will just go ahead and miss this. But here's what I'm looking at again on bookmap. Pretty damn obvious level, right? We're right below a low. Very, very obvious today. At least on this specific one. It was not obvious earlier. The levels on bookmap were before highs and lows. But here's what I'm looking at, right around the 510 level and right around the 500. Pretty big stacks of orders. They look legit. They look like they're staying on the book, and they are pretty significant. So let's see what we get. Let's see what we get, man. Looking at the boys at Discord, 100%, man. L's are part of it, 100%. I'll be honest, it's more frustrating to get an L like I got today, or multiple. Just gonna watch this, guys. Again, this is aggressive, right? I'm buying the low of the session right now. Very aggressive. Looking for a bounce. It's not something that I would want to hold on to for a really long period of time. There is absolutely an opportunity to just melt to the downside. We melted yesterday. We're looking weak. We did stay below VWAP. We bounced a handful of times. This can absolutely go. I'm going to play off of this back and forth structure and look for a trade like this. Probably only want to give it around 60 points. Back up to these lows, something around those lines, or back up to VWAP. Maybe I clip it even before then. I don't know. But that's what I'm looking at here, guys. Again, counter trend, right? Counter to this trend to the downside. If we pulled back up, if we broke this low, pulled back up, I'd be looking short, right? Really at this point, we're low on the day, trending to the downside. We are looking like we want to break lows. Coming off of yesterday's very, very weak market, I would be looking to the downside. But right here, right now, as I'm hopping on for about an hour of live trading, I'm going to work with what's right in front of me, right? Talked about taking some trades with you guys. Talked about getting into trades, being able to talk about managing them, all that fun stuff. So I want to be able to do that. If I sit here and say, well, I'm going to look for a sell. Does the market pull back up here? Does it just melt? Do I find a sell somewhere? This isn't a great spot, in my humble opinion, for me to take a sell for the way that I structure my trades and manage them, unless I'm looking for a quick push down into Bookmap, maybe to grab 10 or 20 points, something like that. And I found a way to structure risk very tightly. Let's see. Again, I'm going to wait for these orders to fill if they do, right? If it comes down into it, we might bounce right from here, not give me an entry at all. Usually there's some volatility. Sometimes it is an aggressive wick to the downside. Limiting in around these large orders on Bookmap, I have found, is a double-edged sword. You can get the great fill if price is going to melt 50 or 100 points right then and there, which sometimes it does. You're not waiting for any hesitation. Okay, so that's first level. Those orders actually filled. Volume. Now we're coming directly down into the next. We are below the low. I want to see if we get these to fill. Would like a buy somewhere below that. There we go. Cracking through it.
Order filled.
I'm going to try it right from here, guys. Again, this is aggressive. I'm going to leave about $500 of risk on. Yeah, going to leave about $600 of risk on. That's what I'm going to go for. Again, very aggressive. Fading this Bookmap level right now. Yeah, man. Might be on the wrong side of this one. It's looking melty. There's the big wick down. Volatility. Aggressive. Not getting the bounce that I'd like to see. For these trades to play, I really, really want to see a bounce quickly. Going to give this thing room, see if it is just this aggressive wick below the lows. Maybe we hang on to some form of a bounce here, but that's not the nice bounce that I like to see after that. That's absorption and really a continuation. Again, watching Bookmap since I used it on this one. Let's see. No, not going to play nice with me. Not going to play nice with me. Yeah, more liquidity on the book below. Yeah. Don't like this one. I'm going to leave my stop where it is. Again, 60 points of risk, but we got liquidity on the book below, so it doesn't look good for me. Doesn't look good for this one. Again, aggressive, right? Like we talked about. Counter. Got some on the book above. But yeah, I think it's going to clip me before we get there. This looks melty. Very melty. Do I survive this last little bit that looks like it just filled? At least for the time being. Let's see what we get here. Nah, looks like we want to continue this bad boy. In by the skin of my teeth here. Yep, at this point, just going to leave it on. That's the game plan. My bounce play did not play nice. We got orders coming on the book above price, but I'm so close to this. Not going to move a stop loss down. I'm so close to this low that there's obviously a very good chance we just come down to clip it. We mess around down here. Even if we are going to pull back up, my stop loss is just not in a great spot for this based on that movement to the downside. Do have orders coming on the book well above price, the 520s, the 546s, the 570s. We got orders on the book at 600, 610. We had orders come on the book below price at 450 that filled, really right down here. But now we've got orders stacking up on the book above price. I just don't know that I'm going to survive whatever movement we have down here, which would be kind of frustrating if we do start to pull back up. But you put your risk on, you decide where your stop loss placement is going to go pretty quickly, or I think you should. And you really don't want to be the move stop loss farther away from price person to be taking on more risk. Unless you pre-plan that, right? Unless you are going to be an add to your loser type of trade. But we are long, close to a stop out. That's my day today. Part of it, right? Part of the game. I like that play. I do. This is a trade that I'm going to take often. Quick sweep below the lows, big levels of liquidity, targeting a bounce back up to the upside. Decently cheap trade. I let this one go pretty wide, just to try to survive what I'm trying to survive right now. But I don't know that I'm going to get it. I don't know that this is going to bounce at all from here. This may just be the absolute melt to the downside. Show you guys what I'm looking at on Bookmap. Levels coming on the book above price, right? Here's what I was targeting for a bounce. Did not get that today. Absorbed. We had more orders come on the book as we were coming down. Right here, you can see that. Anything else coming down on the book below this is going to really make the case that we are going to, crack lower before we go higher. These up above price, I do like. Whether they are fresh sells or they are profit taking from people getting long down here. I don't really care so much, but those coming on the book, more orders coming on the sell side, I do like. But again, where my stop loss is and the price action and market structure that I know from YM, it's not uncommon for it to just wick down. Let's see. There's the pullback up. Ooh, even more orders coming on the book. Show you guys this. Right here at 25-ish. Yeah, this may be one of these cases, guys, where I do get myself out at break even after hanging on to it. The bounce from this level to the upside theory is really gone by the wayside. If this is going to be a huge V-shaped recovery, I don't know that I want to hold it. I see a big level of liquidity right above this. I'd love to get there, right into the 23s. Yeah, we got stuff off coming off the book up above. I don't like that. Don't like that. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at in a minute here. Are we going to just push the upside a bit here?
Order
Yeah,
filled.
I'm going to duck out of this. Here's what I'm looking at, guys. All of these sell orders that were on the book are coming off up here. At least this stuff right here, this stuff that was over here. It's stacking up right here. Now, the way that price is absorbing this liquidity to the downside, the trend of the day being strongly to the downside now, no bounce from this area, the trade thesis is gone, right? The bounce from this area back up to VWAP, back up to prior lows, that's not going to play. So for me, this may absolutely run to the upside. I'm more than happy to be out of break even. It's not a move that I like to pull. It's just not great trading to take on all that risk and then get yourself out of break even. But I'm managing this with my discretion and utilizing Bookmap, right? Utilizing Bookmap for the entry, utilizing Bookmap for the exit, right? If we don't have that liquidity on the book above price, it's really invalidating my thesis. So we're coming into this right above, but let's see if we absolutely run to the upside now. But that's not something that I want to hold on to after that type of a move to the downside. Luckily, survived that one by the skin of my teeth to not take $600 worth of loss. This move, why I want to have that type of stop loss to begin with, a quick wick, man, a quick movement to the downside, really quick, and then immediately bought back up and pushing directly to the upside. Not that many minutes in between like that, like actually, hanging out down here. Quick wick on the 1 minute to 5 minute to the downside and then a push back up. That's about it. So break even, back to reset, take a deep breath and see where we go from here. What's up, guys in the chat? Good morning. Good morning. Appreciate you guys being here, man. Tony Hawk, what is going on, man? Weekly pivots bounce right off S3 on the weekly pivot here. Yeah, man. Right before I was hopping on Top Step, I asked Tony Hawkeye. That dude's in Discord, doing really well. Shares a whole lot. I appreciate you being there, man. If you're still on, shares a whole bunch of what he uses to trade. Talks about pivot points. Yeah, I think pivots, kind of like any other tool, can work really well. It's primarily what I used way back in the day, and they worked really well for me. I'm a horizontal level type of a guy, obviously. For me, discretionary levels work pretty well. I do base them around objective levels, right? Like prior day's low, I probably want to have on here, prior day's high. But if you're using pivots, man, they're working well for you. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. It's market generated information. They're consistent, right? There's a calculation for how it's done. So there's ways to back test that really nicely. Let's see if I'll throw it on the chart so we can see what you guys are talking about. Maybe TopstepX is not going to have it so nicely. Let's look on TradingView. Let's see what TradingView's got. Again, man, whatever works for you, right? I think finding something that works for you can be really, really solid. Oh yeah, right off of S3. Yeah, I mean pivots are interesting, man. If you want something different that a gentleman in my community is displaying that it works very, very well for him in his trading, take a look at pivot points, man. Yeah, X doesn't have them. That's tough. Here's yeah, I'm assuming we're just talking about because there's a couple different things. I'm assuming we're just talking about pivot points standard without changing any settings on it. And if I look at the 1 hour, we literally touched support 3, cracked it by like 15 points and bounced right there. You can see the support and choppiness found in this area right at S2. Again, man, I think they're horizontal levels that are going to give you a way to structure risk, right? Kind of like anything else. Do they work every single time? Is it always going to bounce at a certain level? No. Are my zones going to work every single time? No. Is Bookmap going to work every single time? Absolutely not. I don't think any tool is going to be 100%. If you find something that you can interpret and communicate well with, and the way that you understand the market and your approach, it fits really well with it, go for it. Use that piece. Backtest with it, build confidence with it, and that's where your edge comes in. So again, I don't think there's any one best. I do think getting overcomplicated isn't helpful. Building this insane rhetoric about the market that is just blatantly not correct, I think can be damaging. so it goes too far one way, but there's a lot of different ways to do this, man. So yeah, pivot points, man. Tony, man, correct. The biggest ones to use the daily and the weekly. No, they don't just work every time. Exactly. All about risk, man. Find a way to manage your risk, right? Create a positive expectancy through risk management and the way that you manage your trades. You're probably going to combine it with a little bit of price action and market structure, right? You're going to apply some discretion. You're not always just going to buy or sell right off of a level, something along those lines. But yeah, find whatever works for you. It's a common one, right? Like that's another pretty big one out there. Yeah, man, I think I first started using pivot points back in crypto. And if I had probably just stayed there and then started to study price action and market structure, I would have been okay. But that was during the time where I was adding every single thing that I possibly could to my chart. And it was MACD and RSI and money flow index and Bollinger Bands and 47 moving averages, and EMAs. Like, there's a limit, right? And a lot of it is giving you what price is giving you. I think stuff that generates levels is cool, like the TopStep daily levels. If I had to pick market generated levels outside of pivot points or just the discretionary stuff, especially with ES, I really liked the way prior day high and low, and then Globex overnight, pre-market, whatever you want to call it, high and low. The area that price trades from session changeover to 9:30 a.m. I really liked those levels. VWAP is a pretty obvious point that most guys pay attention to on their chart. It's an easy one. But again, if it's not VWAP, maybe it's like, a couple moving averages. I think a lot of it comes from, again, what works for you and your ability to study it day after day after day. And I think if you gave me pivot points and you gave Tony Hawk discretionary levels, again, the guy's name's Tony Hawk in Discord, so I don't think it's the real Tony Hawk, unless it is, but, awesome skating. But if you gave him my tools and, me his tools, we probably wouldn't do as well, right? Especially not on day one, week one. Part of it comes from studying it and getting a big amount of confidence built around it. So again, I think some stuff gets way, way out there, and it's, we're identifying the sun's rays. Somebody in the community that joined before he mouthed off, and I had to boot him for hate speech and just being crazy. But I gave him a chance. It was Gann's method of the sun's rays, and it was a custom indicator, and it built levels based on, I don't know, maybe that works for you. I think that's kind of far out there. Like, we're towing the line of, like getting a little bit too crazy with technical analysis. But again, I don't think it matters so much. Just whatever works for you. Study price action and market structure, right? Like, that's a core piece of what we do. Find tools that you can utilize on your chart to structure risk, to define entry criteria, right? So you can apply some consistency to your trading. But I think the longer you go, the more you realize you don't need all that stuff because it's not helping so much. And again, there's going to be a balance for everybody. Just watching price here, guys. I'm not super interested after this type of movement. Again, out for break even on this, and would be back halfway to stop loss. I'm just gonna wait to see what happens here. But again, it's different for everybody also. So I'll grain of salt it with this. If you watch the guys on TopStep, right? I'm on TopStep quite a bit. You watch someone like Dakota. He trades a pretty much naked chart. He has nothing on his chart outside of, I think, traditional volume. Maybe he trades like 100 tick or some variation of a tick chart and a 5-minute or a 1-minute side by side. He kind of bounces around, and maybe he draws some zones. He draws some rectangles, some purple rectangles. That's what works for him. I do believe he pays attention. He's aware of other stuff going on outside of that, but that's his chart. Does really well, right? One of the top guys. Look at Rips. He's got a ton of monitors. He's got different book map charts up, a whole bunch of different information. He's watching the Mag 7, and he talks about all this. And that amount of information works really, really well for him. So who am I or you or anybody to say that a certain level of information is too much or too little? Again, for the most part, what I see guys that have been doing it for a long time, at least on the retail side, maybe prop firm side, or live, they're really, wow, look at this melt. That would have been the full stop out there. So the close at break even was a play. I'll talk about that management in a minute. But it's different for everybody. So experiment. I think most guys that are struggling do have too much on their screens. They've got too much crap on their chart. They're trying to pay attention to too many things. Most guys that have been doing it a while and are fairly successful, they're borderline a naked chart. Borderline. Couple simple tools. And at its core, they're applying their discretion, their intuition that's been built through experience, to price action and market structure and volume to a certain degree. And, that's enough for them. They don't need 47 different things. But everyone's different, man. Everyone's different. Let's go through the chat here. Again, man, I'm answering questions from Discord as well. Why I'm starting to move higher. Yeah, this would have been a short opportunity, right? Look at that. Let's talk about this trade real quick, and then I'll check the chat with you guys. Again, I'll pick out good comments from the chat. I've been getting one gentleman that has made it his life's duty to troll me on these YouTube lives. So I'm gonna ignore those and ban troll comments as they come. Again, let's go through the thesis of this trade that ended for break even after almost hitting a stop loss. This was utilizing bookmap along with market structure, right? Choppy day, price action, market structure wise. We're coming towards a low. Pretty obvious spot to have a large stack of liquidity, but two very large levels, what I would call large levels for today, levels of liquidity right below price. I was fading this, anticipating a bounce to the upside. Counter to the movement of the day, counter to the movement of the last few days, but looking at a retest of this low, prior lows broken in the downtrend, or maybe even VWAP. We did not get that. We absolutely blew through that level, melted. A quick short opportunity to the downside would have been right off of prior lows broken in a downtrend, right? We can get rid of these levels. Very, very simple trade. That would have been an entry. Here's the issue that I would have with something like this. Where do we get risk structured on this? I think the bounce back up here, initial thesis was okay. It's certainly not as strong as if we bounced right here before blasting through. But where do you get a stop loss on this to say, if it comes back up this far, it's breaking this downtrend and I no longer want to be, short? Right here, if you're not going to wait for any confirmation, maybe you say, I'm going to wait for some kind of a pullback, some kind of a continuation of the downside, and then I'm going to go stop loss right below here, right above here. That would have paid. Something like that's pretty cool. For me on YM, not catching as many of those. I'm much more going to be trading from the extremes, like you saw me attempt there. But trade management on that one's solid, right? I'm not going to throw my hands up and say, oh, wow, so magic, right? And did you see me sweating so much? Like, obviously, nobody wants to be $600 times 5, in combines. But on another day, I'm using the information that prints, right? I'm discretionarily managing my trade based on the data that's coming out. Stop loss way down here, close at break even based on levels above starting to come off the book, and this blast through to the downside. And not it being a quick wick to the downside, right? Like I'm trading momentum and volume. That was a lot of volume to the downside, and then sellers held it down there. Buyers didn't step right back in. It wasn't just a wick below the low looking left over here, and then a crack back up to the upside. So different type of thesis now, right? So got out at break even. On another day, guys, I talk about trade management a lot. On another day, I'm wrong doing that, right? On another day, here's my stop loss, and, here's where I'm looking to take profit. This thing rockets, right? And this is just a sweep below the low, and that's what it needed to do before it continued to the upside. So, note that. Yes, today trade management was good. On the prior live where I cut a trade short before it came all the way to stop loss, good trade management. It won't always be that way. If you're going to allow yourself the discretion to manage your trades, to actively manage your trades, be aware that you will be wrong sometimes. If you have the confidence, which I do, to read price action and market structure and the tools that you use, maybe it's Bookmap for me in this instance, and you are okay being wrong sometimes, in the long run, I think you can positively impact your P&L. You can duck out of trades that would have hit full stop loss for $600 and at break even, and and accept the times when you are wrong and it moves in your favor after you get out. I'm okay with that. But again, everything in trading has two sides to it. There's a double-edged sword to it. So I think it's important to talk about. And I think anybody that you see trade that did what I just did, and then says, "Oh, I'm a genius," and see, guys, I told you, now it's selling off, and I was just wrong on that one, and we're out for break even, and no problem, and blah blah blah. Not whether it's a win or loss, I'm going to try to talk some reality with you guys here. So in that instance, worked pretty well. Absolutely selling off to the downside here. That was a retest and a continuation to maybe give you some confidence to get short on this. Again, aggressive from this area. I don't know where we're placing a stop loss from down here. Really tight above that level would have paid so far. Obviously, not really how I like to operate on Dow. It's just too wicky. There's too much of this back and forth movement, wicking above and below highs and lows. I just don't like to get that tight with stop losses. On a day like today, maybe even more than 40, 50 points. It's just volatile. But I like to run a pretty wide stop loss and let the trade move. So that's trade management. Watching Bookmap, we got level after level popping up above price. This is not something that I'd be looking to take long from down here. Next discretionary level on my chart is way down here. I did have one marked. Right here. Did I? Oh, no. I was looking at this. Looking at this in between. Did I have one on MYM? See, this is no. I could see something here, right? If you had to say, "Oh, okay, find another level." This has been chopped through a lot, right? So we're looking at the middle of a range. Yes, it's been tested highs and lows on the 1 hour chart multiple times, but it's been sliced through 47 times. So this isn't a super clean zone, right? Like I used to work with Nick Sean. I don't know if any of you guys know him. He used to go, make your zone so obvious, so blatantly obvious that like anybody in the world, everybody and their mother could see them. And then he started going, this is a clean zone. This is a zone that you could take home to mom and dad. This zone, you really don't want to you don't want to play with this zone at all. This is a bad zone. So that's the not politically correct way to be describing zones. But I like to go for obvious stuff, tops and bottoms, areas before impulsive movements. You call them support and resistance, order blocks, whatever. You can call them rectangles, call them areas of interest. But my next area of interest is really down here. Again, coming off of prior lows in the uptrend before this impulsive move, the low of this zone that was tested multiple times, somewhere down here. I really don't want to get involved in the middle of this. That is another gnarly sell-off, man. Very weak. Very weak. And again, I'll show you guys Bookmap real quick. Not a whole lot coming below price. Quite a bit coming up above price. We got some serious stacks of orders on the book above price. I'm not going to look long from down here. Don't really have a spot to get long and a good way to structure risk. But let's hop in the chat. Appreciate you guys being on here again. I am one trade for break even, just about break even. After a serious amount of drawdown, got long at the break of this low. If you hopped on late, looking at Bookmap, anticipating a bounce to the upside, even if we were going to continue lower, didn't get that. Blasted through, got very close to taking me out. Cut it at break even, watched the levels above price that I would have been utilizing as targets, and took into consideration this absorption to the downside to decide to cut the trade right around break even. I'm going to hang out with you guys for a little bit longer. Maybe we absolutely do sell off. I don't have a short here, right? Again, like I don't have a good way to structure risk. I don't drop to the 1 minute and, try to pull moves like this on YM. I just don't love it. Maybe NQ would work a little bit better for this. It moves around too much. It wicks up and down. Just far too much for me to get into too tight trending moves. So if we got some structure to the downside, maybe we came up and retested these lows and started to continue, it would give me another clean place to invalidate a short trade. But until we get somewhere down here, I really wouldn't be looking for a long to anticipate a bounce or any kind of retracement right now. But we're down around a pivot point, right? Don't have that on my chart. Pivot point somewhere like right in here. Maybe you guys are saying, yeah, it's gonna be tested a couple times, and we're gonna look for some kind of move off that. But again, appreciate you guys being on here. Feel free, hit like, hit subscribe. You don't have to if you don't want to. Free means free. I'm on here trading for free almost every day. Hop in the free Discord. Awesome community, 1,300 members. You can catch me trading live here on YouTube. You can catch me on TopStep TV. Fun session yesterday. Break even on TopStep TV after moving into profit. It's been a lot of my week this week, man. Just happens. Break even trades after break even trades. I will be on next week, Tuesday at for Power Hour, TopStep TV, and then I'll be on Fast Markets on Thursday. Excited to be on Fast Markets again. That should be awesome. I had a garbage choppy session where I just sat patient the entire time that I was on it last time. Good test of patience because anything I would have taken would have been absolutely trash. We did work a green house account trade. Not that I'm the leader of the house account, but yeah, man, feel free to hop on TopStep TV. Jose, what's up, man? Let's go through the chat, see what's up. Tony, Hawkeye, yeah, man, different for everybody. Again, I'm going to read some of these guys. I'm going to ignore the trolling BS or the same repetitive questions, anticipating it to be the same guy that has made it his life duty just to bother me on here. No, I don't have... What's up, Mike? I don't have an affiliate code to use with TopStep. I don't believe that there is any code out there right now for a discount on TopStep. They used to do all this different stuff. They used to have discount codes. I used to have an affiliate code for TopStep before they reined everybody in, and there's no affiliate code. They used to do Top Quiz. They used to do fire drills, bell to bell. They haven't done any of that stuff. And the last inclination that I got that they were going to do something was at 150,000 YouTube subscribers. Michael had said that a couple times, kind of made a hint at that. So, but I appreciate you asking, man. No, I am partnered with Bookmap and I am partnered with Edgeful, which I will talk about in a moment. If you're interested in looking at Bookmap, since I was posting that, again, grain of salt it. I can't be unbiased if I am partnered with a company. That disclaimer's in all of my information as well. But there is the discount for Bookmap. That's my code. Awesome company, right? I partner with guys that I believe are helpful. I'll talk about Edgeful here in a minute. Some interesting reports. Used to have so much on my chart. It makes it worse in my opinion. Yeah, man. Limit and master a few. I agree with that, Tony. 100%. Too much garbage on your chart. Pivot points. Cool. Yeah, got another trader using pivot points. Awesome, man. Maybe there is a perfect strategy, but no one has found it yet. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. I don't think anybody's found that one just yet. Yeah, we talked about pivot points. Yeah, TopstepX doesn't have them. Mike, I am red in XFAs on the day. I am green, $82 across 5 copy traded 150K combines, essentially break even, or around the $100 mark, red or green for these combines. The amount of risk that I'm taking on, that's going to be about break even. You have to figure out what works for you. Another tool. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Weekly yeah. Breaks to the downside. Yeah. Ivar, who was saying it breaks to the downside, I think, a while ago. Good call. Feels like a meltdown. Yeah, man. Yep. Wouldn't give it a ton of room if you were bottom bouncing. Yep. Yeah. Meltdown. That's what we got. I'm over here looking short and should really be looking for a place. I'm over here looking long, excuse me, and should have really been looking for a place to get short. Where was that opportunity? Somewhere up here. This would have been beautiful as we're failing to get above VWAP. We're breaking lower on the session open. This was my opportunity to get short, which I missed a handful of times this morning. You can go back and listen to my my complaining about my trading this morning. Feels like I'm not down. Yeah. Are you on a funded account? This is 5 TopstepX combines, daisy chain together. I have 5 50K XFAs with Topstep that I've traded, and I have backup past 50K XFAs. Super choppy. Yep. Took a break even day. Terrible PA. Would rather go play golf. Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you, Rusty. Thank you. And good morning to Hot Lots if you're still on here. Yeah, man. At this point, I'm really not too interested, guys. Not so much on the chart. It's a hell of a move. In this area, I don't have a fantastic setup. We are forming some structure, right? Like we are getting it right now. If you want to just trade, pretty clean market structure and price action, this doesn't look terrible. This doesn't look terrible, right? We've got prior low broken in the downtrend. I'll be objective about it just because I'm not going to take it. We got prior low broken in the downtrend, tested cleanly. We are coming up on the 5-minute chart at least. We are coming up to retest, again, what it looks like. Prior lows broken in the downtrend. This is textbook stuff. If you were going to be aggressive and be entering as price was coming up, maybe your trade looks something along these lines. You're going to go for a stop loss well above that level. If price has to come all the way back up, we are invalidating the trade, and you are going to try to capture a melt to the downside. Maybe you scale into something, you start adding, you scale in right here, light, you start adding on the way down. Maybe you say, that's not how I trade, and typically not how I was working it on ES when I was looking for this type of structure a little bit more. You can wait for some confirmation, right? We pull up here. You don't have to enter as price is coming up. You don't know if it's just going to blast to the upside and this is going to be the bottom, right? Maybe you wait for some kind of candlestick pattern, chart pattern, some indication to the downside that sellers are stepping back in. Engulfing candle, candle that's larger with a wick to the upside. Again, a specific chart pattern, candlestick pattern, if that's your thing. And then you look to get short. Maybe it pulls all the way up here, then starts to come back down. And you look to get short on that selling pressure, stop loss above that level, target way down at the next lows looking left. Nothing wrong with that. These are all valid trades, in my humble opinion. So we'll see what we get from here, right? Again, I'm not taking this one because I don't like this risk structure. I don't want to have a stop loss here, and I'm not super duper convinced that we were absolutely going to melt to the downside today. That was a hell of a wick down, a hell of a push down, not a wick, right? Because we got candle closures. If we're looking at moves from yesterday, sure, we got room to go, right? Like, look at how this played. We can absolutely continue to the downside. And this isn't a bad spot on the chart to be looking for us to, go and retest. All of these lows here, maybe even lower. All of these prior highs, if we're zoomed way out on the 1 hour, maybe we want to come all the way down here, or we're at least going to get close to it. Not quite break this trend to the downside. Although if I was a trend line guy, we are kind of breaking this trend, right? I'm cherry picking, not including that, but what's an anchored VWAP look like off this? Just doing really much higher time frame analysis. Interesting. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Just not super duper interested. After that, that was my play that could have paid. Now, am I looking short on this? I wouldn't be looking long. Not until I had another play like that set up where we're coming into what I would classify as a pretty serious level. Looking for a bounce on a really, really weak trend day. I would be looking short. I don't love the structure now that we've sold off so much. It doesn't really exclude me from getting in. There's plenty of ways you could do it if you wanted to. But for me, right here, right now on Dow, I'm not looking at a short, at least just yet, until we saw something crazy. Jose says, "Yeah, saw you on Top Step. Love how you managed that trade. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Yeah, if you guys tuned in, yeah, I took a long. What was that trade yesterday? Took a long up here, somewhere. Yeah, where were we? This is 3:00 power hour. I took a long somewhere in here. I think it was 18. Something along these lines. You can go back and watch it. So, it's fine. I took a long in here after this big push to the upside, held it into MOC. I liked how we came down, tested these lows. Maybe it was, no, because I think this happened after I was in. Came down, tested these lows a couple times, was looking to get long, low in this area of consolidation. Held this one through MOC, waited for the push to the upside, didn't close. After MOC, went stop loss to break even, just I think 10 points in profit. And it came down and clipped me. Not that I'm holding past 4 p.m., which this is past 4 p.m., right? Here's the 4 p.m. candle right here. This would have came down and been a full stop out. So decent trade management. This did show me some profit, right? It was... I think I saw the $200 mark flash. So showed me some profit. So maybe clipping it a little bit earlier. But I think I had $250 worth of risk on initially. So, but yeah, managed decently. So I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Guys, I'm going to show you two pretty cool reports I've been paying more attention to from Edgeful real quick. Edgeful, if you don't know, I'm partnered with them. Badass platform that provides a whole bunch of stats on all of your favorite trading instruments. This is Edgeful. This is the platform itself. I'm going to show you guys two that I've been paying attention to. The initial balance breakout, the one that I'm on right now. I'll just make this for 2 years of data. What this is measuring, and I'll tell you why I like combining these two. It's pretty interesting. What this is measuring is the first 1 hour, the opening range from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Eastern during NYSE session, obviously. If we break one side of that opening range, what is the chance that we come down and break the other side? Not likely. We break out to one side, single break, more often than not, almost 70% of the time during NYSE session. The other one that I like to pay attention to, or I have been paying more attention to, previous day's range. These are two levels that I wasn't talking about initial balance. I was talking about overnight high and low. So two levels that I have been paying attention to on ES, 15-minute opening range and initial balance. Here on YM, I do like initial balance. And like I was talking about, overnight high and low, right? Prior days high and low. Here's prior days high and low. Very similar stat where over the last 2 years of data on YM, if we break prior days high, 78% of the time we're closing as a green day. If we break prior days low, 76% of the time, we're closing as a red day. These reports are awesome. I don't think it's similar to a standard indicator, although they give you indicators for your charts. You can check this stuff out and just try to understand some of the levels that you're working with. You can backtest with this stuff, and I think this is a lot of what guys, and myself included, look for in backtesting. How is prior days high and low respected? What happens if we break above a certain level? Initial balance, 15-minute opening range, previous days high. These are all on here, right? 15-minute opening range. There's a ton of different reports. It can give you some insight into what's going on. You can understand the stats for your specific instrument, right? During a specific session, you can create a custom session. You can customize these reports. Like you might say, I don't care about New York session. I trade London. You might say, I don't care about the entire New York session. I only care about the first 3 hours. You can customize these reports in so many different ways. You can view different variations of each report. Really intuitive. If they don't have something that you want to see that's 100% objective, let me know. They'll build it. they'll custom build reports. Again, has to be 100% objective, meaning it has to be market generated information, not discretionary, not your opinion. Has to be clear level, right? Like prior day's high and low. It's not out for debate. That's a clear level. Everybody's chart, on YM is the same high and low. So gives you an example of what the report is actually measuring, chart example, explanation, breakdowns, report breakdown day by day, showing you what happened and why and what, being ability to see ability to take a look at the corresponding TradingView chart. Here's the price chart down here. And then almost everyone has a video explaining it and, at an even better, better way than I do on here. So throw this one in here, man. Does Edgeful? Yeah, man. You can check this out for free. Again, I'm partnered with Edgeful, guys. Full disclaimer. Partnered with Edgeful and Bookmap. Edgeful, you can check that out for free. 7-day free trial. You can hop on here. You can run through all this. You get the full thing. TradingView indicators, everything for free for 7 days. I think it's great. It's something you can pull a lot of information from. And if you say, hey, you know what? I don't really like it. I used it for a couple days. I don't find it helpful. Awesome. Bookmap, it's not as great of a deal. You do have to buy it. It's just a discount. But I love that Edgeful gives it to you completely for free to try. I'm going to show you one more thing on Edgeful, actually, that I find helpful, guys, as I'm watching this market push. One more on here. If you decided you wanted to hold on to it, here's a clear reason to do so. This section is using live data, right? What's happening right here, right now, showing you 1 minute delay. And it's giving you reports that are forming on the chart. It gives you the basic breakdown for the last 6 months. You can go to the report page. It shows you a streak. It just shows you like what happened when this report set up over the last 5 days of data. And it gives you the actual numbers. So for example, this one is showing you a gap down. The gap down would be prior day's closing price. It actually gives you the number. 740. This is current price or 1 minute delayed current price. So it's showing you a bullish setup forming based on this report here that plays out 68% of the time. There's plenty more on here. This is something obviously you would need to hold on to it for longer than 1 week just to get some numbers from it. But helpful, man. Makes it super easy. Like if you don't want to go through 37 reports, you don't want to try to figure out what you like or not like, you hop on here in the morning, you check what's in play right before the open. Take a look. Okay, like how does that look? What does that look like on the chart? Let me just see what that looks like. And here's the stats behind it. Here's what happened the last few days. You can go to the report page, customize it, and say, okay, well, I really don't care about every day. I just want to see the day that I'm trading. I just want to see Thursday. I want to see Friday because the stats do get skewed day by day. Maybe you want to see, 3 years of data instead of 6 months. So what's in play from Edgeful? Super helpful, easy to use, very intuitive. Live market data lets you know what's setting up right here, right now, and you can decide to pay attention to it or not pay attention to it in your trading. Yeah, retest all the way this low. Again, getting short down here would have sucked. That wouldn't have played too nicely. Short anywhere down here would not have played too nicely. Back up above my entry down here at this level would not have survived that type of a pullback. My stop loss, again, was right below this low. So decent trade management. Taking it long from down here, not on the way back up. No good way to structure risk. Don't want to run 120-point stop loss. So interesting, man. I'm interested to see if we come all the way back up to VWAP. It certainly feels like that. Feels like V-shaped recovery. Kind of feels like what I was dealing with during Power Hour yesterday. Right over here. It's kind of what it feels like. Oh, no. Wait, where are we at? Yeah. Yeah, right here. Right? We'll just have to wait and see, guys. I'm probably not going to look for trades after my frustrating morning. If you guys missed that, feel free to go back and watch. These stay up here. I give you my review, what went on, trades, all the fun stuff. Appreciate you guys being on here. One trade for break even after some serious drawdown, but a full stop out saved. So we could say good trade management, I guess, for today, right? Because every day is going to be different, and you're not going to be right every day. You're going to have to deal with the natural losses that come. So thank you guys for being on here. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing you see or hear from me is a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. Hop in the free Discord. Feel free to check out Edgeful, check out Bookmap. Partner with both those companies. I think they're awesome. You can decide that for yourself, and you can grain of salt it from me if you'd like. See you guys live here tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. again. And then Top Step TV next week, again on Tuesday for Power Hour, Thursday for Fast Markets, and then all the other days live for free on YouTube, where I'm here showing you what my trading looks like. The good, the bad, the back and forth BS, the lots of break-evens that I've taken, answering questions, and showing you what real trading looks like for me. That's all I could do here, guys. So I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Jose, let's go. Always hype me up. Hop in the free Discord, and Jose will hype you up with all of his energy. Talk to you guys soon. Be easy.